Well, folks, I've acquired a lot of pizza ovens for this video. I like to say it's not an obsession, but a hobby. These right here are what I consider some of the best among the portable lineup of outdoor pizza ovens. If you follow my website or channel, you know I've been putting out individual reviews of pizza ovens for a while now, but I figured it was time to really rank these against each other and see which one is the best overall. In this video, I'll first show you a side-by-side preheat comparison, then walk through the performance of each oven while cooking multiple styles of pizzas. Here's how I will be ranking these ovens. I look at the flexibility they offer in terms of fuel choice and pizza styles. Being able to make a variety of styles with pro-level results is a big bonus over an oven that can only cook one type. I also look at the quality to cost ratio, and last, but absolutely not least, the performance. Let's get started. I had already tested the preheat time individually as I reviewed each oven one by one, but I realized it was pointless to compare since the weather was vastly different during each test. So I gathered a couple extra propane tanks and I tested them again within the span of 2 hours. Here's the results. I tested these on a cloudy 57-degree Fahrenheit day with moderate wind, so you can expect higher numbers in the summer months. You can see the Coda 16 started out of the gate really hot, but then trailed off, largely because of the wind. I find the Coda to be more affected by wind than some other ovens. The Carbon and Versa, which both have dual burners, performed well, but the Versa maxed out at just over 800. The Rockbox and Solo Pie were both the winners, but keep in mind, these are 12-inch ovens and have less space to heat up. The Karu 16 was slower at first, but really caught up at the end. Also, keep in mind that I had to keep opening the door on the Karu to check the temperature. By leaving the door closed and only checking after 40 minutes, the Karu approached 950, just like the Rockbox. Alright, let's dive right into the first mini review. You may already know Solo Stove from their fire pits, but this is their first attempt at an outdoor pizza oven. And they came up with a really innovative dome-shaped design, which includes the ability to use gas or wood. The drawback right out of the gate is that you can only make 12-inch pizzas in it, but the circular design of it actually provides a lot of room for maneuvering the pizza. The gas burner is incredibly loud and kind of sounds like a really big torch. And since this is a smaller oven, the intense flame has no problems whatsoever at reaching 900 degrees. The results with the gas burner were very good. This was my first pizza, and the bottom cooked up beautifully, and it did a pretty nice job with the leoparding on the crust. The wood burning feature is easy to light and maintain, but make sure you don't add too much because it's easy to go overboard. Here's my first attempt. I had just finished testing a 16-inch oven before this and put in the same amount of wood. This is not what you want to do, but once that flame tamed down, here's proof of some awesome wood-fired pizzas I made. I also love the new stand they created. It turns the oven into more of a complete product rather than looking more like a countertop appliance. The price fluctuates a bit with sales, but keep in mind the gas burner is sold separately. So overall, it's a bit pricey for a 12-inch oven. I'm surprised at how well this oven performed. I really thought it was going to be a big flop when I first saw this was announced, just based on the design and the size of the front opening. But it reaches over 900 degrees, has a great burner for leoparding on Neapolitan styles, and a really wide opening to maneuver pizzas. With slight point deductions for cost and size, I gave this oven a 4.5 out of 5. Let me start by saying this oven is an absolute game changer. Sure, Uni had multiple solid products before this with a proven track record, but the Coda 16 started selling like hotcakes because of its new L-shaped burner and huge cooking area while still remaining portable. I consider this a perfect choice for beginners. The ample room makes launching and rotating a lot easier for newbies. Also, while I much prefer a good torch-style burner with a rolling flame, the L burner on the Coda is a little more forgiving. With 1/3 of the crust pointed toward the flame, you won't need to turn the pizza quite as much. However, if you're cooking during cooler months, I noticed that you may have to reheat the stone for 10 to 15 minutes between pizzas. If I'm making a really big New York style, I like to use a pizza screen for a little hack. Since New York styles are typically around 16 inches, launching that big of a pizza requires a very precise technique. With the screen, you can toss it right in the oven, bake the pizza for a minute or two until the dough sets, and then slide it off the screen and directly onto the stone to finish baking. I'll put a link in the description to the Lloyd Pan pizza disc, which is what I'm using here. The Coda is a do-it-all beast that can make any style of pizza and has a decent price point, especially considering the performance. I give this a 4.8 out of 5. One of the first dual-burner pizza ovens, and the only one that actually has 2 dials to control the heat separately. From the etched carbon logo, you can see the flames from the bottom burner heating up the stone, and up top, an incredible rolling flame. Between the power of the top burner and the addition of the bottom burner, I thought this oven would preheat crazy fast, but it was pretty comparable with the average. For Neapolitans, I found myself preferring to use both burners on high. This plain pizza was the first bake and ended up a bit underdone, but I let the oven heat up more, and the next 2 came out perfect. Once I started making New York styles, the separate burner controls came in handy, allowing me to keep the stone temperature a bit lower to prevent burning the bottom on a longer bake. The oven can only fit a 14-inch pizza, so it's a bit smaller than I'd normally make, but they still turned out great. I launched these when the stone was around 625, and I cooked it on a lower flame. Let's talk a bit about quality. Remember, this is a $700 oven, which is comparable to other top-of-the-line brands like Uni. The overall build materials remind me a bit of the Bertello ovens, black sheet metal, lots of rivets, and without many refined edges. But none of these are bad things, so long as it holds up well. However, moving on to the inside, you can see there are pieces of insulation visible at the seams. In addition, when looking at the burner assembly, I really don't like the amount of connections in the gas piping. It kind of looks like a do-it-yourself job. Overall, there's no question you can cook awesome pizza in this oven. The biggest hurdle is the price. I would have liked to have seen this closer to the $500 mark, especially since it's not a multi-fuel unit, and the cooking surface is a bit smaller than I'd like. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. We have another dual burner oven here, but this one does not have separate controls. The Halo Versa 16 makes up for that by including an industry-first rotating stone. Pretty sweet, huh? With a click of a button, the pizza stone rotates for a very easy, hands-off bake. The entire dome also opens up like a hinge door, making cleaning and maintenance a breeze. But the drawback is the weak top flame. I first tested a few Neapolitans out. The top was cooking slower than the bottom, so I had to lift the pizza with my peel to avoid burning the bottom. Next time, after 2 to 3 minutes on the stone, I lifted it and held it closer to the flame while rotating it manually. It was a decent pizza, but I realized the Versa 16 may not be ideal for authentic Neapolitan. On the other hand, New York style cooks perfectly. The longer cooking time and auto rotation is definitely tailor-made for New York pizzas. This is easily the best pizza oven I've used for this style of pizza. Overall, I'm thrilled with the performance of this oven for New York and even Detroit-style pizzas. And while it's possible to make a good Neapolitan, it requires some fine-tuning. The rear flame is a bit too weak for a proper 2 minutes or less bake. The build quality is also impressive. Everything is solid and well-designed with heavy steel and well-designed components. I gave this oven a 4.6 out of 5, with points deducted for subpar Neapolitans, but remaining high due to a solid price point, rotating stone, and the best New York-style pizzas I made out of any oven. Ultimately, I think it all comes down to what style of pizza you plan on making. Now let's take a look at the complete opposite. This 12-inch Gosney Rockbox cooks unbelievable Neapolitans with an intense torch-style burner that produces a mesmerizing rolling flame. This oven is fully capable of easily reaching 900 degrees within 30 minutes. The drawback is when you combine the strong flame with the cramped cooking space, there's a larger learning curve. It's not uncommon to burn a few pizzas your first time using it. Once it's up to temperature, you can see the flames are basically reaching out the front of the oven, which is darkening the steel. Don't worry, it's not permanent, just some soot that wipes off easily once cooked. Also, the Safe Touch silicone jacket is impressive. Most other ovens are scorching hot on the outside, but this one, I can actually touch. But once you get the hang of it, the Rockbox wins the gold medal for shortest cooking times. On my second bake, I let the center stone temperature reach 875 degrees, and I left the flame higher throughout the entire cook, making sure to turn it quickly. This one only took 1 minute and 6 seconds to finish, and the bottom turned out nicely. I topped off this Hawaiian pizza with some pineapple habanero hot sauce. You can also make really solid Detroit pizzas in this, as long as you use a 10x8 pan or smaller. The wood burner works nicely, but make sure not to add too many pieces of wood at once, or else it can get a bit out of control. I like to start with 3 pieces and then refuel with another piece every 10 minutes or so. Overall, the Gosney Rockbox is a grand slam for Neapolitan pizzas. If this is your go-to style and what you like to make most, then this is one of the best ovens you can buy. The rolling flame can get better leoparding on crust than the Unico's L-shaped burner, but you're a bit more limited on what you can cook in the Rockbox. 4.7 stars. Remember when I said the Unico was a do-it-all beast? Well, the Karu 16 is like that, but better. You can swap out the gas burner in 10 seconds to start using wood. The glass door is awesome for obvious reasons, and the cooking area is absolutely huge, easily the biggest of any oven here. The torch-style burner is very similar to the Rockbox, which worked great for Neapolitans. If you plan on cooking a lot of back-to-back pizzas, Uni sells a half door, which alleviates heat loss from opening the standard door. Overall, I actually like both of them. The full door is better to get the oven hot in the winter months, but the half door is more convenient on warmer days, so you don't have to mess with opening and closing. I launched my first pizza when the thermometer read 846 degrees Fahrenheit, and the actual stone temperature was around 815. This pizza cooked in exactly 90 seconds. Here's the beauty shot. I was thrilled with these results. After this, I switched back to the half door to make a few pizzas. The cooking performance was exactly the same, but preheat took an extra 10 minutes. This first one included sausage, vodka sauce, and fresh mozzarella. One bubble flew a bit too close to the sun, but it was still a fantastic pizza. Next up is a sun-dried tomato pesto with fresh mozzarella. Another solid bottom. The one end could have used another 10 seconds or so. New York styles worked surprisingly well. I like to preheat the stone to 675 degrees, but then decrease the flame to low when launching. This allows for a longer bake without burning up the crust or toppings. I'm blown away by the performance of this oven. Usually, most other ovens are better at one style of pizza over the other, but the Karu can really do both. Their Coda model can do both as well, but I can get a better Neapolitan pizza from this model, which uses the torch-style burner. This is not only the best pizza oven sold by Uni, but my #1 pick among any brands. Just make sure you get the gas burner with it, because the flexibility adds so much to this product. Okay, so here are my final rankings. Again, this combines performance, quality, cost, and flexibility. The Uni Karu 16 is at the top because it can bake incredible Neapolitans, New Yorks, and Detroits, rather than specializing a bit more in one style, all while offering multiple fuel options and a massive cooking area. But I just want to point out that I don't think anyone would be outright disappointed with any of these ovens. This is like a best of the best ranking. I left out a bunch of other ovens that I felt didn't hold up to the ones showcased in this video. One oven that had just barely missed being included is the Bertello Grande. You can check out my video on this oven if you're interested. But believe it or not, that oven got too hot for my liking. I'll include links to each full review in the description, and feel free to ask any questions in the comments. I'll try to reply daily. Thanks for watching.